The fuse for the next world war is already inside your pocket, miniaturized onto a silicon wafer the size of your thumbnail. It's not about oil, not about territory, not even about data in the way you usually think of it. This is about who controls the microscopic architects of our entire digital existence, a global conflict fought not with bullets, but with supply chains, intellectual property, and industrial espionage. This is the semiconductor war, and its front lines run through the most unlikely place imaginable. What you're about to understand is how the entire 21st century global economy has become precariously balanced on a single, fragile choke point. One company making one indispensable component in one politically volatile location. Every single text you send, every stream you watch, every AI model training itself on vast data centers, it all relies on an intricate silicon brain, smaller than your smallest fingernail, performing billions of calculations every second. For decades, one company, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, has quietly built an uncontested dominion over the highest echelons of this digital brain manufacturing. Their story begins in the 1980s with Dr. Morris Chang, a visionary who saw that the future of computing didn't require every company to design and then also build its own chips. His insight created the foundry model, a pure-play manufacturer that would produce chips for anyone without ever competing with them. This was a radical departure from the integrated giants like Intel, who did everything in-house. TSMC became the neutral Switzerland of silicon. This allowed countless fabless companies like Nvidia and Qualcomm to explode onto the scene, focusing solely on design, outsourcing the impossibly complex manufacturing to TSMC. The chips they produce aren't just powerful, they are miracles of physics, etching circuits as small as 3 nanometers wide. That's roughly the width of 3 human DNA strands side by side, a feat of precision that requires sculpting with light. The machines for this work, particularly the extreme ultraviolet, or EUV, lithography systems, come almost exclusively from one Dutch company, ASML. Each one costs hundreds of millions of dollars and takes years to build. This isn't just a manufacturing process, it's a proprietary art form, protected by layers of patents and trade secrets, perfected over 40 years of relentless innovation. Today, TSMC produces over 90% of the world's most advanced logic chips, the very heart of everything from your smartphone to supercomputers, AI accelerators, and guided missile systems. This dependency is why every major tech company, every modern military, every aspect of 21st century life traces back to the digital foundries in Taiwan. Did you ever stop to think where that tiny piece of magic actually comes from? This isn't just about economic competition anymore, it's about national security, military superiority, and the very structure of global power. The world's leading economies now understand that chips aren't just commodities, they are strategic assets, the new oil of the digital age. Before, nations could take these microscopic marvels for granted. Now, they are at the center of a tense geopolitical standoff. Taiwan, an island nation of just 23 million people, finds itself in an unenviable position, simultaneously defended and threatened by its own industrial prowess. It's called the Silicon Shield, the idea that Taiwan's indispensability to the global economy, specifically through TSMC, makes a full-scale invasion by mainland China too costly for the world to bear. But China views Taiwan as a renegade province, not an independent nation, and its ambition for reunification is unwavering. The United States, meanwhile, is treaty-bound to help Taiwan defend itself and relies on TSMC for critical components for its own military and technological leadership. The exact process that changes everything you think you know about global power is this: nations are now actively disengaging or decoupling their tech supply chains at astronomical cost to reduce their vulnerability. The US government, for instance, has imposed sweeping export controls on advanced chip technology to China, aiming to cripple their indigenous development and slow their military advancements. This isn't just a trade dispute, it's an economic siege. Simultaneously, governments are pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into domestic chip manufacturing. The American CHIPS Act, passed in 2022, earmarks $52 billion to incentivize companies like Intel and TSMC itself to build new fabrication plants on American soil. TSMC is building a multi-billion-dollar fab in Arizona. Intel, once the undisputed leader, is now struggling to regain its footing, facing enormous capital expenditures and technical hurdles to catch up to TSMC's advanced nodes. Samsung, a global powerhouse, is fighting a multi-front war, dominating memory chips but trying desperately to close the gap in advanced foundry services. The true cost of that cheap processor isn't what you paid in dollars. It's the invisible geopolitical leverage it grants to nations on the other side of the world. This desperate global scramble has one terrifying contingency at its heart: the scorched earth scenario. If China were to invade Taiwan, the world anticipates that TSMC's highly specialized fabs, with their precision instruments and pure water supply, would likely be rendered inoperable. This isn't hyperbole, it's a contingency planning nightmare played out in war rooms across Washington, Beijing, and Taipei, creating an unfathomable global economic catastrophe that would make the 2008 financial crisis look like a market correction. Wider lens. This situation reveals three specific, concrete insights you can use to read future tech news differently. First, you'll understand that supply chain isn't just corporate jargon. It's the invisible, fragile string connecting everything you own to a handful of ultra-specialized factories, often located in politically volatile regions. Think back to 2020 and 2021, when a chip shortage, exacerbated by a fire in a Japanese factory and a drought in Taiwan, crippled global auto manufacturing for months, costing economies billions. That wasn't an anomaly, it was a warning shot. Second, when you hear about a new semiconductor factory being built in Arizona, Japan, or Germany, you'll know it's not just about creating jobs, it's about strategic de-risking, about bringing critical infrastructure inside national borders, no matter the astronomical cost or the environmental impact of these massive facilities. These are political investments disguised as economic ones. And third, you'll realize that the race for leading-edge semiconductors is a race for true technological sovereignty. Nations are no longer content to simply buy their digital future. They want to build it. The next generation of artificial intelligence, quantum computing, advanced defense systems, they all depend on chips that don't exist yet, being developed by engineers working under immense geopolitical pressure. This changes how you interpret every news report about trade disputes, diplomatic visits, and military exercises in the Pacific Rim. This isn't just about the next iPhone or server rack. This is about the fundamental architecture of the 21st century itself. The free flow of information, the globalized economy, the very idea of an interconnected world, all of it hinges on the uninterrupted production of these minuscule components. Who controls the flow of information, the tools of surveillance, the processing power for future AI, ultimately controls the discourse, the narrative, and potentially the levers of power within democracies and authoritarian states alike. The nation that commands the future of chip manufacturing will wield unprecedented economic and strategic power, shaping everything from climate policy to healthcare to space exploration. It's that simple. And the stakes couldn't be higher. So, the next time you hold your smartphone, remember the invisible battle being waged for its very existence, the clandestine deals, the geopolitical maneuvering, and the untold billions riding on that tiny sliver of processed sand. Because understanding these hidden mechanics, the true drivers of power behind the tech you use every day, is the only way to truly comprehend the world we're building, brick by digital brick. Stay with the Circuit Brief, because the next story of corporate power, technological control, and global consequence is already unfolding, and you'll want to be the first to truly see it.